Founded in 2005, the Institute for Liberty began by focusing on technology policy and crises facing national security. Recognizing the crisis coming for America's small business, in 2008 it shifted its focus to protecting the engine of the nation's economy. In the past 5 years, the Institute for Liberty has aggressively worked to defend small business at the federal level. It fought for private property rights by providing anti-kilo language for the Senate's housing crisis bill, curtailing the federal government's powers of eminent domain. IFL has fought hard for access to reliable, inexpensive energy. They continue to counter EPA's war on energy by opposing various regulatory schemes that will limit the nation's energy sources and drive up costs. Their supporters filed tens of thousands of comments with the Interior Department to protect America's right to drill for oil on the nation's shores. This fall, IFL launched a Keeping Small Business Healthy initiative, educating and activating small business in opposition to the president's plan to nationalize 1/6 of the nation's economy. IFL was a founding organization in the Tea Party movement, having sponsored, participated in, and helped plan rallies across the nation, including the 9/12 DC event. The Institute for Liberty is dedicated to defending the people's right to be free.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Andrew Langer, President of the Institute for Liberty. Thank you for taking the time to join us tonight. It's an honor and a privilege to be sharing this time with you. America has the greatest entrepreneurial minds in the world. We were forged in the fire of a can-do spirit with a mindset of innovation and excellence. This innovative can-do spirit is what has brought those who seek to defend the principles upon which this nation was founded from a feeling of uneasy dread to one of certainty and determination. Think about it. Just over a year ago, our movement was fractured and wounded. We had suffered defeats not just at the polls, but by people who had abused their office. People who had grown the size of government, mortgaged our children's futures, and put our entire way of life in jeopardy. But instead of going gently into that night, we raged against the dying of the light. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I said rage. Americans are angry. Angry at politicians who simply won't listen, and angry at those who mock them for their ire. Angry because these politicians don't seem to understand that in order to get America going again, they mostly need to just get out of the way. If we want to get working families back into the small businesses that are the engine of this economy, then we need to set those businesses free. They need to be made certain that their costs aren't going to skyrocket, and that those people they hire will actually be able to help that business produce something and achieve something. Last week, the President pledged $30 billion in small business loans. But that amount is dwarfed when compared to America's trillion-dollar regulatory state, a regulatory state that costs individual small businesses thousands of dollars each year. When compared to those costs, the President's offer of $30 billion is an insult. Ladies and gentlemen, we face a choice. What they are offering is more government, more spending, more rules, more shackles. That's one choice. But the other choice is liberty. We know that you've made that choice, but what we want is for your friends and neighbors to know that as well. We want you to declare, I choose liberty. You see, the secret to the Tea Party movement was millions of individuals stepping up to emphatically declare what they believe. In so doing, they made it possible for others to feel like they weren't isolated. IFL's I Choose Liberty campaign is the next step in that movement. It will be a nationwide effort to remind people of that can-do heritage, asking people to share not only their testimonials about why liberty is important in their lives, but to give examples of just what happens when government gets too big for us to effectively control. We have a choice, ladies and gentlemen. I know that by choosing liberty, that can-do spirit that has made this nation great will ultimately prevail. Thank you.
Great job, Andrew.
Thanks. Thanks.
You talked about that spirit. You talked about government getting out of the way. And if government gets out of the way, that most business people, they will then take those risks. Do
Sure.
you see the policies of this administration suppressing businessmen's desire to take the risks they've taken in the past?
Absolutely. Everything that this administration has done thus far has made it more uncertain for what businesses are going to be able to do in the future. The fact is we have this jobless recovery specifically because business owners are not willing to take those risks. They see their health care costs going up, they see their energy costs going up, they see their labor costs going up, all because of the policies this administration is either implementing or planning to implement.
Now, how can they call it a recovery if it's a jobless recovery? Isn't that an oxymoron?
It absolutely is an oxymoron. It certainly isn't sustainable, and that's what we want to see, is a sustainable recovery where businesses actually get to hire those working families that are in desperate need of being employed. By doing that, by setting this economy on the right path, a path that is based on real sound free market principles, we will put this economy on the secure footing that it needs to be on.
Well, that is great. Well, you keep up the good work with you and your organization. Thanks a lot for being here, Andrew.
Always.
That's great.
The State of the Union, the voice of the people. This has been a presentation by the Hardage Company and TvTownhall.com.